podcast. I'm your host, Sam Scott. Special guest today got the homie Bryson from Houston, a.k.a. Red Nation blogger on the TL. What's good, bro?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Not much. How you doing today?
Just chilling at Whataburger. About to grow up. I'm done with this.
or how the little one doing? Y'all happy Father's Day?
Yeah, he didn't do much. It was raining all day in Houston, so really didn't get to do nothing. Just chill at the crib. Watch Moana for the 17th time.
Moana. Kids love that movie.
Yeah, she loved that movie.
Hey. How old she is now? 4?
4, yep.
God dang, time flies.
Crazy.
How's fatherhood treating you?
Man, I'm getting older every day. New body start hurting every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
You're used to it. You still got some youth left in you, be all right.
Yeah.
But let's check it out. So when you become a Rockets fan, what is your fandom with the team start with?
Shit, when I was born, man, like, honestly, the first memories that I got of the Houston Rockets is like Bryce Drew, which is like 98, 99. Steve Francis, Katino Mobley, Moochie Norris, Kelvin Cato, Eddie Griffin, Matt Maloney. That was like the first, like those are like my years of like, my bad, I'm letting the window down. Those was like the Rockets teams that I grew up on. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like, I love Steve Francis, watching him dunk and make all types of crazy moves with his handles and shit. But like, that was really like when my fandom of the team really started, and now it's just spurring into what I am today.
I feel you be like that. So you was there when they so you just started being a fan like the years before y'all got y'all there.
Yeah, like again, since birth, but I mean like Yao was like a part of
That was like the first big star y'all had when you was a fan.
For sure. Yao Ming first, the first big, guy to franchise building block, I guess you would say. Yeah, for sure. I like Yao Ming. He was cool.
That was cool. Prime cut short by them injuries, though.
Yeah.
Sure. Still a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, for sure.
Salute that, man. How you feel about the current Rockets team and where they standing right now? How's the Harden and Russ experience been this season?
I mean, I'm not really sure. Like, if the moves that they've made have definitely been centered to help Russell Westbrook in the way that he plays. Because he's not really that consistent from the outside. The mid-range shot he's okay at, but he's really a force driving in the paint. He's really a force, getting to the paint, getting to the rim. I mean, it was like 2 months straight where he led the league in points in the paint at like 20 points per game. That's amazing. To be 6'3", 6'4", and leading the league in points in the paint. But it's not like he was doing it posting up. He was starting on the outside and just really just beating his man off the dribble every single time. Hey, yeah, but I really do feel like small ball has really benefited Russell Westbrook. It was to help Russell Westbrook. I guess Houston felt like Harden was going to get his, however. So
Harden is Harden.
Yeah, they need to make a move to help Russell Westbrook because, like, the numbers was looking crazy with him and Clint Capella sharing the floor because Capella can't shoot. Russell Westbrook can't shoot. And then Capella was also dealing with, like, a major injury. He was playing through it, so kudos to Capella. But, they made a change that they thought would help fix the team, and, I mean, we'll see. I think this hiatus helped him, though.
Definitely. And Russ one of the bigger, stronger, more athletic guards in the league, too, so that opened up space and really helped him everywhere he played. And you can mismatch him against some smaller guards down there, too, so.
For sure.
Got an additional wing talent space and we can open up things for him. Like I said, Harden is hard. He gonna eat regardless. So
yeah, but you need size. Like when you go against the other teams in the Western Conference, especially the elite teams, you need size. Even if you could play a guy for 15 to 22 minutes, you need size. You need a threat in there, and that's like where I'm asking questions like, can Tyson Chandler give you anything?
I forgot y'all had Chandler.
Yeah, exactly. Forgot we had. Can Bruno Caboclo give you anything? Bruno Caboclo, he not no bad guy that wants to play on the outside. He wants to face up. He wants to shoot threes. He wants to handle. Like he's not a pick and roll threat. Like that's not him. So you try to play Jeff Green, who's 6'9", 6'8", but he's a small 6'8", 6'9". He's not a
PJ Tucker, y'all biggest guy y'all ever got out there. Him and
you know what I'm saying? PJ
and I
Tucker's
guess Covington.
Exactly. And it's just it takes away a little bit of the dynamic of the offense, a little bit of the versatility, the lob threat that you used to have. You don't have that lob threat no more, which takes so now Harden has to be even better with his step back three. He has to be even better drawing fouls. He has to be even better finishing in the paint. You know what I'm saying? Like he has to be better at those aspects. And the thing about James Harden is unlike Russell Westbrook, he's not as explosive. He's not as so he needs those other pieces to kind of help the other parts of his game. You know what I'm saying? Because he's more of an on the ground player. He's more like a Magic Johnson than he is Michael Jordan. So yeah.
So you're gonna see how it works. This D'Antoni last year on the contract, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's his last year.
Think he come back next season?
I don't know, man. I think it's like championship or bust. Honestly, I feel like if he doesn't win a championship, he's not coming back next year. I just feel like that's the type of pressure that he's under. But I honestly don't. I honestly don't really like blaming the coach more in the NBA, like any other league. I'm not really
because one player in the NBA can swing your game more than in any other sport.
Yeah, like if you put LeBron James on the Rockets, like there's nothing Mike D'Antoni can do to make him like a better player.
Yeah.
Like, or we're just gonna automatically be good because we have another top player on the planet that's on our. So I don't feel like, oh man, Mike D'Antoni sure changed LeBron. Like, no, that's not the case.
So you don't subscribe to the people that say D'Antoni is responsible for Harden's elevated play the last years, his big stats and all that.
Well, I mean, even if you want to say that, what coaches name a coach in the NBA whose job isn't to maximize what his player does well? Mike Budenholzer went to the Bucks and maximized Giannis. The general manager looked at the way that Giannis played, looked at the way that Mike Budenholzer coached, and was like, well, what's the best way to maximize Giannis' talent? Surround him with shooters, create space, let Giannis attack the paint. What has that led to? The Bucks having the #1 record in the East, and before the COVID-19 outbreak, we're on pace to win 70 games. So, like, the job of a head coach and the GM is to play to the player's strengths. If the player's strength is ISO ball to give him the play and let the offense run through him, then why would you do that?
Some people try to discredit the best players for having great coaches around them who use them, but like that's the coach job, and you see all the great players who actually won titles and went to this year league had the great coaches beside them. So, and plus the year before he got there, Harden was like 29, 7 or something like that.
I mean, honestly, if the system entails giving the ball to a guy at the top of the key and letting him go one-on-one, where he, and he shoots a step back three. If the system is making him do that, then why isn't every coach system letting their player do that? Like, every player should be averaging 36 points per game right now. Every single player in the league. Because if the system is simply give the ball to one person and let him go one-on-one 60% of the time when he's on the floor, like every single coach should have that system for that
formula though.
That should be your formula. 50 win season every single year. Your player gonna be in top 2, top 3 MVP talks. You're gonna be a championship contender. Why wouldn't you implement that system?
And some players can't play like that too. So, and Harden is a special breed where you can get him the ball all game and say, "Take us there," and he don't take it. That we've seen it all last season too.
For sure. I mean,
every year he's been in Houston pretty much.
It is what it is. But you run into great teams. You run into Golden State. Run into San Antonio. Who knows how that series would turn out if Zaza Pachulia doesn't take out Kawhi Leonard's ankle. You know what I'm saying? You see what happens when you give Harden the number 2. When you give him a Chris Paul the first year you have Chris Paul. You win 65 games. You push the Warriors to 7 before Chris Paul gets hurt in game 6 or 5. Like, you see what happens. So,
and y'all the closest team to even get close to knocking off the Warriors when they had KD.
No team being coached any type of way, being coached with any type of system by any type of players has come close to knocking off the Warriors. But Mike D'Antoni, whose system doesn't work, who has a fluke superstar, who plays the worst way, that's the style of play that come the closest to knocking them off. So, like, to me, it's like the math doesn't add up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yeah.
like, well, if the system doesn't work, why did it almost beat this dynasty that y'all claim is the best team to ever be assembled? And it was unfair that KD went there and blah, blah, blah. But that team that plays the way that you hate, that nobody can win playing that solid ball, actually came the closest to knocking that team off. So it's like the math doesn't add up. The logic doesn't add up, you know.
I feel the one criticism I do, well, I want to say, well, two criticisms I do have Mike that I think are valid. He doesn't make adjustments a lot during games. Like you saw during the 27 straight missed threes, he wouldn't run any sets, call anything different. He let y'all just stay the motion. And the second one is that he doesn't let Harden take the mid-range shots. He's actually good at it if you would just let him get in the area and work, but he kind of takes that out of his game and takes that out of everybody's game to an extent, I think.
Yeah, I
Except
mean,
for maybe Chris Paul, he let him take those shots, but that's
with
just
that,
all
I
that.
feel like Mike D'Antoni is not going to bench James Harden if he takes a mid-range shot. So the notion that he doesn't, quote-unquote, let him take mid-range shots, Harden embraces the system. If Harden doesn't take a mid-range shot, that's because he doesn't want to. Mike D'Antoni is not going to stop James Harden from doing a damn thing that he wants to do in the court. So, like, that's on Harden to take more mid-range shots. As far as the 27 missed threes go, the Rockets had Chris Paul as a stabilizer. Chris Paul was the second option. He was a stabilizer of our offense, so to speak. So when we was going cold from the three, or when we didn't have an offensive threat to get us to the free throw line when Harden was resting, Chris Paul was that pulse. Chris Paul was that second option that we could go to and say, hey, man, you know, the offense is struggling right now. We need you to come in here and give us 28 to 32 good minutes of great basketball to help us stabilize our offense. When Chris Paul gets hurt, now you miss that stabilizer of the offense. So now you do what you've been doing prior to Chris Paul being there. So when you say he didn't make any adjustments, I kind of feel like it's hard to tell guys that's been practicing for 82 games in the season, that's been practicing for training camp, that's been practicing during the preseason, that's been practicing during postseason play. It's hard to tell them on the fly, hey, change what you're doing like that.
Yeah. But
You
at
know
the same
what
time, the flip side to that is you're supposed to use the 82 games and the preseason and the training camp to kind of implement those plan Bs and Cs. So,
yeah, exactly. But the one thing you're not in practice is Chris Paul hurting his hamstring.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's
Can't
the
game
one.
plan for that.
Exactly. That's the one thing that you're not expecting. One thing you got count on Game 7 is to have the referees call the game unfair. Those calls going against you. If I have two made Harden threes be wiped off the board and be called fouls on the floor. You know, like those are the things that you don't account into. You don't count on the reason going 0 for 11 from the field in Game 7, 0 for 7 from 3. You don't count on him having 0 points in a critical Game 7. Those are the things that you don't account for. You can say, well, why don't you run the play for a reason? Okay, I'll run the perfect hammer screen, or I'll run the perfect pin down screen, perfect flare screen to get a reason open look, and he misses. Now what?
True.
Adjustment to a missed shot. There's no adjustment to that. You missed the shot. You know what I'm saying? So it goes both ways. I understand both sides of the argument. Like I say, I'm more of a person. I'm more of a player blamer than I am a coach blamer. I'm not going to blame Mike D'Antoni for Trevor Ariza missing 11 shots.
All
Or
right.
it's not Mike D'Antoni's fault. Ariza should have made a wide open three. He's an NBA player. He made $8-9 million a year. Get it done.
Key piece of y'all team all year and no show that last game and skipped out on town too.
You said what? Oh, yeah.
Key part of y'all team skipped out town the Phoenix for 15 M's at the end of the season too.
$1 million, I would have skipped out too.
Especially he like what 33, 34 too.
Exactly, I would have skipped out too. But that team had a 1-year window, man. I told people that. I honestly, in my mind, this gonna sound crazy as hell, but like in my mind, I felt like that team, it was better for us to lose because I thought, this is me, I thought that LeBron was going to see what we did to the Warriors and was going to say, I can beat that team. I thought LeBron was, you know what I'm saying, Chris Paul has bet one of his godfathers to his kids or something like that. Chris Paul, Harden, LeBron, that would have been enough with Clint Capella, Eric Gordon. That would have been enough to get
That would
Golden
have
State.
been dope.
Yeah, they would have swept them or beat them in 5 games. If Chris Paul and Harden all the 7 games, what is LeBron going to adding LeBron to that mix going to do? But LeBron wanted to be a movie star, so I factor equation. I didn't factor that into the equation. I thought that it was like all about basketball, and that's my mistake. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Same. I thought it was between y'all and I thought the Spurs had a chance of signing him too before the whole Kawhi situation blew up
Oh,
in
yeah,
their face. I don't think nobody saw that one coming.
for sure.
LeBron with Harden, Chris Paul, maybe like a small ball forward y'all team if y'all
You got
got him to
3 dudes
convince him to get back down there.
you got 3 dudes that's elite in isolation. You got 3 dudes that's elite in pick and roll play. Like I thought that. I mean, on paper, to me, it made sense.
It made sense to me too. So
Yeah.
it made sense to Brown that he wanted to play in LA, get his homeboy AD over there with him. So at least he happy though.
Yeah, for sure.
It is what it is. So another thing that you've been big on that you always like ran about every so often is how narratives like to shape our perception of players and keep players from winning certain awards or keep them out of certain talks. So you want to go into that?
I mean,
So how do you feel like narratives are shaped? Say they say you feel Harden's been robbed of all 3 of his MVPs he didn't win.
I feel like I guess maybe robbed is the wrong thing to say. I guess I feel like the narrative just changes, and I guess that would indirectly say that would be me indirectly saying that he's been getting robbed. But I feel like he's like the shit changes. So in 2014, Kevin Durant wins MVP. Russell Westbrook missed like 40 games that year. You know what I'm saying? Won 55 games. Kevin Durant was on the tear. He led them to the 2nd seed in the West, despite all the injuries to his team, and he won the MVP. Boom. Okay, that's great. That's a great time for him. Great season for him. The very next season, the Rockets injuries. Harden, his second best player, misses 40 games. Patrick Beverley missed 30 games. Terrence Jones missed 76, 70 games. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we win one more game than OKC won the previous year when KD won MVP. They went 55-27. The Rockets went 56-26. And Harden doesn't win it. And they say, well, the award goes to the best player on the best team. Well, I'm like, well, that wasn't the case the year before. The year before, Kevin Durant was the 2nd seed. Now, I didn't know that 2nd seed meant best player on best team. I did not know that. So I felt like he was robbed in that sense. Like, I felt like, well, shit, Harden basically did the same thing Kevin Durant did year prior, but he didn't win MVP. Okay, cool, boom. So you go to 2017. You talk about, well, Russell Westbrook won at the 6th seed. The first player to win wasn't like a number 1 or number 2 or number 3 seed, like 1978 or 79 or some shit like that. And they said, well, it's because he had a historic season. It was because he did something that hasn't been done since like Oscar Robertson, right? So despite him being a 6th seed, he did something that hasn't been done, historical relevance. They gave it to him. And Harden, the wins didn't matter that year. Okay, cool.
Cool.
So go to 2018. Harden does something that hasn't been done since Kobe Bryant. He averages 36 points a game, but he also does something that Kobe Bryant didn't do when he averaged 35 plus points per game.
He won.
He actually won 50 plus games. His seed was a number 3 seed in the West. They wasn't the number 6 or 7 seed like Kobe's team was.
And don't forget, they started the first half of the season in the bottom of the standings.
And Chris Paul
was then forced Harden hand to go on that tear. Chris Paul's a step slow all year in and out the lineup.
24 games. Clint Capella, Chris Paul, and EG, your top 3 players besides Harden, missed a combined 50 games in the Western Conference. And Harden does something historic while also winning. And then you give it to Giannis because he's the best player on the best team. So I just feel like the narrative just switches. And it's not just MVP. It's
defensive teams, it's all NBA teams.
About he doesn't show up in the postseason, the All NBA teams, how he got snubbed one year.
Yeah, he got snubbed in favor of Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy missed like the last maybe couple weeks of the season, missed the playoffs.
Wasn't that it was he got snubbed, and they said, well, because his team didn't win. The Rockets went 41-41 that year. They were the 8th seed in the West. They got beaten 5 games by Golden State in the first round. And they said, well, Harden didn't make the NBA team despite averaging 29, 8, and 6. because his team didn't win. But the very next season, Jimmy Butler made third team All NBA, and his team went 41-41, and he did not average what Harden averaged. So I was like, well, what was the difference?
All right.
So, I just feel like it's like a likability thing. It's like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's just something about Harden's personality. Maybe he just doesn't give guys interviews that they want. So, like, they just hold it out on him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they just don't like the way that he plays. So they just hold that against him. But I just feel like it's an unfair narrative. Like, if he's such a poor playoff performer, then how was he able to push the Warriors to 7 games with Chris Paul, but LeBron with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, they got beaten in 5 games? Like, I don't understand. LeBron is the GOAT. So, like, where's, like, something's not – again, this is when my math starts I start thinking, like, 2 + 2 is not adding up. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that's just what I – like, he's a poor playoff. He pushed the greatest team ever assembled to 7 games. So it just doesn't add up to me, man. So,
and then the year he did win it, they tried to put a mid-season rally together for LeBron after he quit on the team for like a month or so.
The player get blew out twice by 40 points. The whole team traded away in mid-January, after getting blown out by 40, and still
sleepwalking on defense all year.
Still be in the MVP talks. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It's astonishing. But hey, it's neither here nor there. Like I said, it's basically like, for lack of a better word, it was the "Here Nigga Down" award. You know, like, damn nigga, you've been crying all these years. We gonna finally give it to you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But to his credit, though, the year y'all got it, he did earn it. Rockets 60-win, historically great offense all year long. So
for sure,
best ball of his career up to that point.
For sure. I personally think that, not this season, but previous season, when he was like scoring 50 a game every night damn near, I personally feel like that's the best I've ever seen James Harden play, personally.
I'm not mad at it. He was on the tear that year.
Even better than his MVP year. Like, I feel like that was his best year.
I can't argue that. So, any other players you feel like benefit from their fandom or love in the media besides the LeBron stuff?
Every player benefits from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Giannis, Anthony Davis, those are 2 players who always ask questions. I'm like, well, you hold this against Harden, but this player, like, people think like Giannis just got in the league. Giannis been in the league for a minute.
Giannis only a year after AD.
He been in the league for like 4 or 5 years. I mean, no, he been in the playoffs like 4 or 5 times. Last year was his first time getting out the first round, and they played like a 40-win Detroit Pistons team that did not have a healthy Blake Griffin. You know, they played a dysfunctional Celtics team that hated each other with Kyrie Irving. That they not even gotten out the first round if Victor Oladipo was healthy. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because they did not like each other. Then when he finally played some competition, they lost 4 in a row. So I mean, I don't know, but like, you trust him in the playoffs. Then Anthony Davis is another guy. Like, he's
Anthony Davis AD been a top 5 player from the start of the season 5 years in a row at this point.
I'm keeping Harden on my top 5 because of playoff performances, but AD makes it. What? Like, I don't like, I never understood that logic. You know, like, to me, it's so confusing, like, how shit just like fluctuates. It's just like logic just fluctuates. And I'm just like, well, what's going on? Like, what is it about this particular player that just turns you off so much to the point where you're letting your emotions outweigh your logic? So, I don't know.
Make no sense.
I don't know, man. I'm just like, I just like this. I question these things all the time, and people they just can't never give me like straight up answers. What do you think? Let me ask you this, because I've been doing a lot of talking. What do you think? Why do you think that narrative? Do you agree with the narratives? Why do you think they exist? Like, about him as a player?
The narratives exist to sell stories for the most part, to get clicks online, because that's the age we live in, where the rapid headline sells and everybody spends the whole day viral on Twitter, arguing, debating back and forth. So that's why the narratives exist.
Do you think that they're justified? Do you think that what's said about Harden is true?
What they say is justified. In a sense, I'm gonna say, is the complete narrative of him being the playoff failure true? No. Do I think he has struggled in big moments in the playoffs?
True.
Yes. There are some moments where I try not to knock because, like you said, he loses to the greatest team ever for like the last 5 years or so. I think there's only maybe a couple moments where I really put it in his hand was last year. Kind of got to give him a little, put him at fault a bit for not knocking off the Warriors once KD goes down. And that first game he got hurt was Game 5. Then in Game 6, not well. That's the whole team thing. In the next game, not capitalize off Steph going out and going cold the whole first half. That's when I fought him for the not Kawhi, 2017 when they lost to the Spurs, he didn't show that big game. But
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
he might have had like a concussion and
I
was
don't
low
agree
key
with that.
playing it up.
I just think he sucked.
You think he's just
Personally, I
Hey,
just believe that he sucked. Personally, people
I'm
be
not
saying
mad at it.
concussion. I don't even remember him getting hit in the head that game. Like when did the concussion occur?
I think he got elbow like the previous game, like that fourth quarter. Somebody. Either way, it's not excusable because whole
Yeah.
OT, Kawhi's out.
If you
OT
had
game
that hurt,
4.
you should have sat out.
Facts. So
Anything what you did when you ran out there.
yes, you got to play. Once you get out there, he had to like 10 turnovers that game.
Yeah, he was wilding. Man. So I like those type of things are justified. Like I don't never argue with that shit. You know what I'm saying? How he closed out Game 5 in the fourth quarter in overtime against San Antonio in 2017. I'm not gonna argue that. Game 6, I'm not gonna argue that. Like everything else, I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, at what point do we ask other players to step up? Like Curry, it was a reason why Steph Curry was able to have 0 points in the first half and the game still be tied. Because he had teammates step up. What if people ask Harden's teammates, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you getting paid? You know, like why are you don't you collect your check on the 1st and the 15th, right? When are you gonna do something?
Right. And Chris
Why
Paul, he like I said, he was
they,
struggling that whole season. He didn't have good games for those last two of the Warriors.
the last exactly. And he picked up him and Mike D'Antoni picked up 2 critical late technical fouls, like
Right.
blew
And
the
Clint
game over.
Capella's out there getting out rebounded by Kevon Looney. The
What Kevin,
defenders are leaving Iggy wide open from 3 all game.
I'm saying. So at what point do we ask other guys to step up? Like, why is it always just hard? We don't ask none of that from no other player. Like, Kawhi can get help. Steph can get help. LeBron can get help. KD can get help. KD can go run to these dudes and join team. And we don't knock that. But Harden, no, he can't handle it. He got to do it by himself.
Harden got to do it by himself.
And so that's why I'll be like, that's why I start asking the questions. Like, well, damn, when are you gonna ask this from other players? Like, why is it always like Harden do this? And then people like to say, well, because his GM compares him to Michael Jordan. Well, Michael Jordan, last time I checked, had help. I remember him having help. I remember him having Scottie Pippen. I remember him having Horace Grant. I remember him having Tony Kukoc. I remember him having Dennis Rodman. Like, I remember him having help. When are we gonna ask Harden's teammates to step up? That'd be my biggest gripe. That's it.
And that's my biggest problem with how the narrative surround the star players. Like for Giannis, for example, last year, yeah, he did struggle, and they did choke the 4 year. You can't deny that. He got locked up by the Raptors. But to his credit, they were like triple teaming him, throwing multiple guys at him. And then when you put the sole weight on Giannis didn't step up, which is true. But when you look at his second and third best players, who are Middleton and Bledsoe, and Bledsoe's out here turning the ball over every time he walks up court. Middleton's getting outscored by Norman Powell, who hadn't been good for like the whole 6 months leading up to that those last 4 games. So he's out there with Brogdon and Brook Lopez. So
I'm not, and this is when I throw my unfairness into the ring. This is when I start throwing in narratives, and it's not fair, but I do it to show people how stupid it is to do it to James Harden. If that same situation happened to Harden, nobody would want to hear it. Harden got to get it done. I don't want to hear it from Giannis. If Giannis, I don't want to hear it.
Just like how we got to tell I know how to tell the big Bron stands every year crying about the no teammates, them no showing him having no help, having bad coaches. But then you completely ignore the fact that he handpicks the teams he's been to the last few years. He chooses who he wants to play with. And then you put him in these GOAT categories. So it's like, you say it's not fair to hold him to that standard. He has to do it all by himself. But when you say, oh, he was better than this guy and that guy and all these other athletes to play the game who have instead of them doing and elevating their team. So then you kind of have to put the weight on his shoulders.
Mm.
So like you can't have the narratives both ways.
Exactly.
You can't paint the
Exactly.
picture of the guy getting it done with no help constantly, and then flip it and say you had no help when he finally lost the game.
Yeah, for sure. I understand that. I understand that logic. Me personally, I go by help on by game status. If you won this game that night, that Sunday night you went off and you didn't have no help and your team won, you did it with no help. The very next game, you did the same thing, but your teammates didn't show up that night specifically. You didn't have help. That's just how I go by it. But not everybody does that.
Facts,
So
I feel you.
I respect that, but that's just not how I look at it because on a game-to-game basis, different players get hot, different players get cold, different players get in foul trouble, different players don't. So on a game-by-game basis, LeBron may have help, he may not have help. That's just how I see it. Harden may have help this game. Like Chris Paul, in my opinion, did not show up and be the Chris Paul that we know and love until Game 6, in my opinion.
Facts.
So 1 out of 6 games, that's 16%. 16% of that series, Chris Paul was Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? So
Wasn't enough though.
he was helped 16% of the time. That's not really help.
Not at all.
So that's just my opinion. But everybody has different opinions. Everybody sees it differently.
Facts, I feel you. So in your opinion, what's one valid criticism of Harden that you will give everybody? Like about his overall game.
One valid criticism is he needs to utilize the mid-range more.
Mm-hmm.
He utilize the mid-range more. I would rather him cut his threes down to instead of taking 14 threes a game, take 9 to 10 threes a game, and those 5 that you stop shooting or those 4 that you stop shooting, shoot 4 mid-range shots.
I'm not mad at it.
Like that's what I think. That's what I would personally like to see. I would like to see him also be more, and this don't matter, but this is just a personal preference. I would like to see him be more publicly coachable. I would like to let him, like how Tim Duncan used to let Popovich yell at him.
Yeah.
Let him yell at you so that shit can trickle down to Eric Gordon. It can trickle down to PJ Tucker. That's how you make your teammates better, by you holding yourself accountable and you letting the coach you publicly. That way, players see that, oh shit, he yelling at Harden, who making $200 million a year. He can yell at me too.
Yeah, I think I listened to All the Smoke. Steven Jackson said something about that pertaining to Pop and Tim. He said Pop would yell at him and he get mad like, who you think he talking to? Then he looked over the next time while he's screaming in Tim's face. So he's like, so he can talk to Tim like that, then who am I to get mad? So just let me go, just do what he's telling me to do.
Exactly. That's championship pedigree. That's something. Now, everybody has different ways to lead. Like, I ain't never seen no coach berate LeBron like that, and he got 3 championships. So it's not, I'm not saying that formula works all the time, but I'm just saying that's just a personal preference for me.
But to LeBron, when LeBron was actually being coached in Miami, and you saw Spo putting him in sets and situations that he flourished in, like the 2-3 years where they went super small, he had LeBron at the 4, night in and night out. You see that he played the best ball of his career at that point.
Again, to me, it was more so in my opinion because I look at players, playing with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, that took immense pressure off him. For the first time in his career, he did not have, like when the postseason came, he knew I got another dude that can give me 30 points a game. He never had that. Mo Williams, you couldn't go into a series and be like, Mo Williams gonna get it done. You couldn't do that. Like never, like nobody has ever said that in the history of ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why when people say, well, he won 60 games. I'm like, yeah, in the regular season, but in the postseason, when it was time to put your nuts where your mouth is, like what happened? Like Chris Middleton, the Bucks won 60 games last year, but what happened when it was time for Chris Middleton to step up?
Facts.
So I'm not gonna say, well, they was a 60-win team. Well, in reality, when you're playing the Hawks 4 times a year, the Knicks 4 Bulls 4 times a year, you're going to stack up wins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's just my opinion, though. Again, who am I?
You got it out for the Bucks.
I know, man. I don't got it out for the Bucks, man. I just don't like the narratives, man. Like, I just don't like narratives. And when I hear narratives, I hold players to that same account. And then people don't like it because they're like, well, that's not fair because you got to factor in this and this. Well, I'm like, well, if you can factor in this and this for that player, then why you can't do it for that player? Like, that's all I say. That's all I say.
I hear you. Speaking, I think Kawhi has an interesting narrative starting to form around him the last year pretty much.
What you mean?
The Dynasty Slayer. He's beat the Heat.
Yeah.
He beat the Warriors. If he wins one more title, he's gonna be top 15, top 20 all time.
That's the bullshit I'm talking about. KD played a quarter and a half. I will go as far as saying this. KD didn't have to play a game that series. If Klay Thompson get hurt,
You said what?
I said I will go as far as saying is this. If let's say KD play now one game that series. If Klay Thompson don't get hurt, they win. The Warriors win.
So that's just Klay missed what was it, game 3, and then he got hurt. During that momentum shift in game 6?
They was giving him work. Klay was giving him work. It was a close game with Klay Thompson alone. KD was gone. KD tore his Achilles, and Klay was still out there. The game was going back and forth. Once Klay tore his ACL, it was a wrap.
It was a wrap. And to Kawhi, Kawhi didn't play that great that series. I don't thought, except for maybe
Kawhi played
a few games. He played good for a superstar, but he wasn't the level he was in the I think the second round against the Philly that he was in the against the Warriors.
Played well enough to win. Pascal Siakam had 2 30-point games that series.
Lowry had the best game of his life the last game.
Fred VanVleet was cooking Steph Curry. Like it was I mean, shit. It was a team win.
Team effort.
Team win. Gotta give him props.
Y'all two can't take nothing away from them.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of playoffs, how you feel about the league coming back to play in Orlando? You think that's a good idea?
I mean, I like it, but personally, after Kyrie Irving made his statement, what he said, I kind of agree with Kyrie Irving, bro. I just don't think that should play. It was with the state of America right now and just putting a spotlight on what's going on in America and kind of bringing the NBA back. It's a distraction. Like, I made a tweet. I said, nobody's going to want to hear from Russell Westbrook if he have a game where he went 5 for 17 with 8 turnovers and he talking about Breonna Taylor. Nobody, as fucked up as that sounds, nobody's going to want to hear it. They're going to say, oh, you just talking about social justice to try to distract from the point that you had a bad game. I know that's going to happen. That's going to happen. So I don't think that people saying that, oh, they're going to lose a platform, blah, blah, blah. I don't think they should play. I think that they should sit out and tell these owners and tell these America as a whole, hey, we're not going to play anymore until this, and that. Athletes have power. It's time to flex that power.
Facts. And people say, what is sitting out a season going to do? But when you remember when they had the bathroom law in North Carolina about 2 years ago?
Yeah, that shit changed
Remember,
quick.
As soon as they stripped the All-Star game for them, the law was gone overnight.
They switched that shit quick. That shit happened like that. They said, oh, no, All-Star game away. That brings too much money to the city.
Exactly. So you take away, 30 NBA franchises, take away that revenue influx to that city, to the hotel industry, the entertainment, the TV deals.
Yep.
Anything that brings.
Yep.
Tourism, that's $1 billion off the table. 30 cities right there.
Exactly. So, I mean, they got power, but then I also understand the players that just love the game and want to play. I can't knock them neither.
Cannot, though. So they do come back to play, which is looking like they got a report tomorrow, day after, something like that.
Yeah.
So you think got the upper hand when it all start back out? Who the favorites are was?
I think every team that's a contender got the upper hand, man. I mean, you got to rest. You got to heal. You got to get the cobwebs out your system. You got to get that itch back. You know what I'm saying? Like, drain. When you sit down and ain't doing shit, you get that itch back. Now your motivation is all the way here. You know what I'm saying? So I think every team that was a contender, if they've been doing what they're supposed to do, they're going to do it. If the Lakers don't have Dwight Howard, that's going to be a blow. That's going to be Howard, great pick-and-roll player, great rebounder, great defender, great rim protector. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be a blow. Now you got to depend on JaVale McGee more minutes. You got to depend on Anthony Davis to protect the rim longer. We know he's susceptible to injury. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I think the Clippers, they going to benefit. I mean, Kawhi and Paul George already like to load manage 60 games a year. Now they got an extra, 2 months, 3 months to load manage even more. So they're gonna be well rested when they come back. Rockets gonna be well rested. Milwaukee's gonna be well rested. The Sixers, Ben Simmons had a back injury.
Yeah, he was about to miss like the first round of the playoffs, I think.
He was about first round of the playoffs with that back tightness. Now that shit is going. So it helped. It helped everybody. It helped. So I mean, I don't really think anybody is at an advantage or a disadvantage besides the Lakers if they lose Dwight Howard.
I'll see. Clippers versus Lakers.
I got the Clippers, man. I just think that they have the guard play that they need. They got the wing play that they need. They got the forward play if they need. They got a center that can play 18 to 24 minutes if they need it. Zubac. You know what I'm saying? They got the center. So I think they're gonna be fine too. I think that the Clippers are the favorites. I think after that is probably Milwaukee or the Lakers. And I think everybody else is like a dark horse, personally.
So Rockets too? You don't think y'all match up well with the Clippers?
I don't think that the Rockets, unless I don't think that they're gonna be. I don't think they got enough, man, because we don't have no big. We don't have a big that can play. Harden would have to be hit like 6, 7 threes a game. He would have to go 7 for 15 from 3 every game for us to have a chance. Because Russell Westbrook was dominating and we were still losing. He was getting 20, 28 points in the paint every night, and we were losing because we didn't have Harden's 3-ball. He was going for 2. If we don't have that aspect of our offense, it don't matter what Russell Westbrook does.
Cheapest owner in the league made y'all get rid of y'all big man.
So what?
I said cheapest owner in the league made y'all cost cut mid-season when y'all supposed to be retooling.
I mean, maybe, but I think that it was more so. Well, I'm gonna go by what Daryl Morey said. Daryl Morey said that the team. Daryl Morey said that they looked at the team with Clint Capella and they felt like that team was not good enough to win a championship. So he said that they traded for Robert Covington, and though that move doesn't mean that they're necessarily a championship team, he felt like in their eyes it gave them a better chance at competing for a title than it did with Clint Capella. So that's just what I'm gonna go by.
You ain't gonna go by the theory that what's his name? Tillman blew all his money on the Rockets, his hotel business ain't booming like that to recoup yet. You don't think he and Morey are telling him to cut that salary down?
I think that he's cheap. I don't think that he's cheap. And he's only made one financial move, in my opinion, that's pissed me off. That move was trading James Ennis for salary cap space. That was the one move that he did that pissed me off because that was a wing that could defend and play basketball, and he traded him for nothing. So he traded. But other than that, I mean, and even then, the Rockets kind of supplemented James Ennis with Iman Shumpert, which I mean, I don't think Iman Shumpert was that a good decision because James Ennis is a better 3-point shooter. The Rockets shoot threes, so get it. But yeah, other than that, that was like the only move that he's made thus far. Mostly, that's been pissing me off is just him trying to act like he's this big mob boss owner. That's what pisses me off more than anything that he's done as a Rocky owner basketball wise. Yeah.
I feel you. And you think he gonna stay the owner for 2 months longer?
For sure. I think that he gonna be a Rockets owner for as long as he living shit. I mean, you don't see teams moving around that much in ownership.
Yeah, but you don't see owners out here scraping for pennies often like he seemed to be doing the last couple months.
For sure.
They said that man been in Adam Silver ear pressing for them boys to come back and play.
Man, yeah, I know he called Adam Silver every day. We about to play yet?
Boy, they report that pocket size.
They report on the 24th. We gonna see, man. We gonna see what skinny Harden got.
We gonna see best shape of his life. They saying no strip club Harden.
That's what they say. We gonna see.
I feel biggest threat to Milwaukee out east.
Biggest threat, Boston. You ain't
a believer in Toronto?
I love Toronto. Okay, Toronto and Boston. But you said biggest threat, and in my opinion, I just feel like Boston has more elite scoring, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Tight game, need a bucket scoring. I feel like Boston has more. Like they guard on Toronto, their best scoring guard would be Fred VanVleet. Celtics got Kemba Walker. The Celtics, the Raptors' best wing scorer is Pascal Siakam. I think Jason Tatum is a better perimeter scorer and like go get a bucket score.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, where the Raptors got strengths is the Raptors better with the bigs. They're better in the paint. So, and they probably got better rim protection. The Celtics throwing out, you know what I'm saying, and Daniel Theis. You know what I'm
And
saying?
Tyson, all right, though. Said Tyson, all right, though.
I'm not compared to Toronto.
Yeah, they got more depth in the big position. Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's like the advantage that the Toronto Raptors got in my eyes is like they bigs, they rim protection, they defense.
I feel that. I ain't mad at you. Not a believer in Philly switching the gear late?
I'm not a believer in Philly, man. I thought signing Al Horford, bringing in Josh Richardson, I was like, oh, Philly, I was like, they ready to go. Then I saw the way they was playing. I was like, nah, they not it. Ben Simmons just don't click, man. They don't click.
They need more. See, that the team they had Simmons and Embiid first year together is the model they should have stuck by the last few years, I think, but just improve those pieces in between. But now you take away their space and instead of spending money on like the Al Horford, they should have spent their money on the Malcolm Brogdon, who signed for like $20 million less than Horford, and who was dead set on leaving Milwaukee because he hated there.
Yeah.
He's just coming off a 50, 40, 90 season. They just shoot another ball handler, another floor spacer guy who's going to make the right play every time.
He Jimmy Butler and got Josh Richardson.
Yeah, I think that was a good move too. So Jimmy wanted out, so at least they didn't let him walk for nothing.
Yeah. You would have Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, Malcolm Brogdon. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, then they had to bring back Tobias because they didn't want to. They spent a lot on him, so they might as well have brought him back. So they don't look completely. And they lost him for nothing too. So
should have kept JJ too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that's I mean shit. You asked my two teams, Toronto and Boston, man. I think those are the two teams, you know what I'm saying, that pose the biggest threat to Milwaukee. I do. I'm really, man, like I just feel like Jason Tatum he's emerged. Like
you said you had some thoughts on him earlier today. You hit me up. What was up?
I seen Jason Tatum. I seen things from Jason Tatum and shit that I was not expecting. The side-stepping threes, the step-back threes. I was like, this dude is looking like Harden. Like, he's like, he was surprising me, man. Like, every time I thought, like, I was like, oh, he hit a ceiling. Boom, he would do it the next game. And he would do it the next game. And he would do it the next game. I was like, when is it going to stop? And he just kept doing it. He just kept doing it. The only time he struggled literally was against Houston.
Yeah.
Both times. I was like, I thought he was going to cook our ass out. Damn, bro. But he literally struggled every single time. So I was like, shit, okay, I cook everybody else then. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's finally clicked mentally for him, because you watched him the first 2 years, the talent was always there. You watched him in college, the talent was always there. But like I said, mentally it finally clicked because he was like hesitant before and was always a step slow, didn't know what shot to take, what spot to go to, and now it's just he right there getting up with the elite guys in the league now.
He's taking more threes too, and he's still taking mid-range shots, but he's more committed to the three than he is the mid-range. I think I think really that's what's clicked. And when he drives to the rim, he's looking to finish.
Yes, because that was a real big pet peeve for 2 years, either blowing slightly contested layups or getting the ball stripped, not going up strong, not trying to absorb that contact.
He's 6'9", man. That man can do everything, man. Last year out of night, I don't like players that try to play like Kobe that's not nowhere near as talented as Kobe.
That was the issue last year.
If you take the shots that Kobe take, you need to be on Kobe's level of taking them. So don't work out with Kobe for off season and think you can play like him. Like that pisses me off. Like I did not like Tatum last year.
I don't blame you.
this year I was like, damn, Tatum it's crazy how he went from being one of my least liked players to one of my most liked players ever. Like, it's crazy. So
It be like that.
yeah, I like him now, man. It's crazy.
You a big Jalen Brown guy too, ain't
Yeah, I'm like Jaylen Brown, man. I thought that we should have gave y'all Clint Capella for Jaylen Brown,
you?
man.
Boy.
That was an even trade. I thought that was an even trade. Like Clint Capella for Jaylen Brown in the first. Like I thought that was an easy trade, man.
Yeah, I wish I thought.
Y'all would have got the protector and the pick and roll threat. We would have got us the wing. That's a good trade. You know what I'm saying? Like both teams got what they needed. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I'm not rolling with you, dog.
I'm just saying, dog.
I might have considered giving y'all like Gordon Hayward or something. Consider.
Jaylen Brown is what we need, bro. We need a wing that can defend, that can shoot threes, that can handle. Boom, Jaylen Brown. Y'all need a big that can roll to the rim, in the perimeter. Boom, good.
Nah,
Even
I ain't rolling. We need that floor spacing big. We ain't got time for no Capella to just take our space in the paint.
you got Daniel Theis to play some situational minutes where y'all need a spacer. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Got in the scanner, but Capella could be that.
This thing said Chandler.
That Capella could be that big. That y'all those situational minutes. That situational rim protection.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Win-win. It's a win-win, bro.
No, I'm not rolling, bro.
Man,
I might be a homer, but I'm not rolling.
Celtics fans was really on my ass when I said that. I was like, damn, man, what I said wrong, bro? What I said wrong?
You was trying to. You knew what you was doing. Like last year, I think you said Jaylen Brown for Melo like early season. I was like, all right now.
I said Melo.
Yeah, like early in the season.
Melo can score, bro.
Melo can score. Yeah, all right.
Melo can score. Get that ball on the block. He can get at you a bucket.
Melo done bounce back though. No shade. Salute Melo. All time a bucket.
I said he can score.
That's about it. But next thing. But so back to Harden said, you've been vocal about Harden versus the other great shooting guards, and other great players in general. You done went to war about Harden and Wade, Harden and Iverson. I think Harden and Curry got you banned from the Bay for the moment.
Got me banned what?
From the Bay. I don't think you good out there at the moment for like 5 years of trying to wage war against them boys.
Going out there, it's sweet out there, bro.
It's sweet.
Going out there, candy on the block, bro. Hey, all bro.
By one name versus Harden, get you and the whole fan base rolling on a good day. Harden versus T-Mac.
Yeah. What, you want me to dive into that?
Dive into that one. People say, I've seen some gruesome takes that if y'all had Mac instead of Harden, y'all do this and that.
It's more that it's the Anthony Davis. It's the Anthony Davis, man. He's so talented. Well, when is this shit gonna translate into W, man? Like, how can you do X, Y, Z better than this player, but have not won more than that player? Well, he ain't had no help. He ain't had enough help to get out the first round. Really?
The first round.
I've never expected Tracy McGrady to lead a team to a championship. What they said. I have never asked. Tracy McGrady to lead a team to a championship. The only thing I have asked Tracy McGrady, Tracy McGrady, get out the first round.
Get out the first round. So what year Mac get there? 04? 05?
He got there 04, 05, yeah. I think
y'all had Mac from 04 to 09. The one year he's out, they finally win the playoff series, take the eventual champs to 7 games, minus him and y'all. Opposed to 5 years of Harden, not 5, 7, I think, or so of Harden.
Yeah.
Compared to 2 conference finals berths.
Mm-hmm.
So compare how the difference in impact between those years of, so like I said, both star shooting guards, both you say was at their peak with y'all. So take us through the disappointment of those first years with Matt versus these years with Harden, and how they skill sets translate to different results.
Tracy McGrady was just a disappointment. From the moment the Rockets 2 games in depth, they went up 2-0, and then they lost in 7. They lost game 7 by 40 points in the first round. He was crying, talking about he tried. You know what I'm saying? To get out the first round. He's so much better than Harden, but he can't get out the first round. I don't get it. Utah. I think 1 year against Utah, we went up 2-0 at home. Then they won the next two in Utah. Then we won in Houston. Then they won. Then they won like the next two. They won the series. Like he lost, I think 2 years in a row to Utah. There was like the 1 year going. Forget Houston. Going back to Orlando, they was up 3-1 on Detroit Pistons. He said it feels great to be in the second round. Then he lost 3 straight games. Like this guy is a perennial underachiever. Then he get on the jump. And he tells the Rockets what they need to do to get past the first. Like, nigga, don't tell me what I need to do. You haven't done it. So how you gonna tell me what it takes? You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
I feel you.
Come on, like, come on, bro. Like, come on.
So what was that year like that y'all finally broke through it? I don't know.
We talking about like in 09?
And 09 when y'all, 09 when y'all had
Well,
Ron,
Aaron,
Aaron Brooks, yeah, Scola. I think Battier was on that team.
That was a squad, man. That was a squad. I still to this day think that they beat the Lakers if Yao Ming never gets hurt. They would have beat the Nuggets, and they probably would have won the championship. They probably would have beat Orlando in the first. They probably would have beat Orlando in the championship.
But y'all went out after the first round, right?
He went out. No, he hurt himself against the Lakers in Game 2 or Game 3. He broke his foot. He came back and he played on it until he couldn't no more. Then he couldn't play no more. Then they lost. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think that I don't, again, bro, it goes back to narratives. It goes back to likability. It goes back to aura. It goes back to nostalgia. Tracy McGrady is like most of the people our age, we grew up watching him.
Mm-hmm.
So we correlate his play to our childhood. Our childhood was great. Most of us had great childhoods. We didn't have bills. We didn't have responsibility. That was a great time in our life. So we correlate him to being a good time in our life. And we correlate Harden. Well, I don't like the way he plays. I don't like him doing this. I don't like the way he's doing that. But Harden is actually winning games. He's actually getting out the first round. Tracy McGrady couldn't even get out the first round. For all his athleticism, he never got past the first round. Like, I'm missing something here. Damian jokes for getting swept by the Warriors in the conference finals. Tracy McGrady, we congratulate him and throw parade parties for him never get out the first round. Like, I don't know. It's not even a Harden versus Tracy McGrady thing. It's like, why do y'all condemn Russell Westbrook for not getting past the first round without KD, but you celebrate Tracy McGrady? What?
It don't add up, do it?
It doesn't add
up. Then y'all favorite moment was the 13 and 30 seconds, ain't it?
That ain't my favorite moment, but yes, you're right. A November game, a November basketball game, game 13 of the season.
Early season, November.
Harden is a regular season player, though.
Don't add up, do it?
Don't add up, man. It just don't add up to me. That's all I'm saying, man. I just want shit to add up. That's all.
I feel you. It ain't adding up. And nothing. It just came to mind real quick. They was talking about old players. Y'all had Kyle Lowry in the early days when he was Aaron Brooks' backup.
And Ogoron Dragic.
And Dragic. And y'all had Courtney. Yeah, those were some decent teams. I know doing, but
that was some good teams, man. But those teams never sucked enough for us to get a lottery pick.
Y'all was like 41 and 41 for like 3 years.
40, 41 and 41. Like and then all of a sudden we got Harden.
It's only up from there.
Mm-hmm.
But so how does it feel? I said y'all had Lowry early when he was grinding out to get a spot in the league. To see him as Aaron Brooks' backup, to go from that to late career All-Star to champion, and then the guy he's backing up's not even in the league at this point. Hasn't been for like 3 or 4 years now.
Mm.
How'd that one feel from seeing that develop?
I don't think that I don't see it as anything, honestly. I mean, without Kyle Lowry, the Rockets don't get James Harden.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, we traded Kyle Lowry to Toronto, and they flipped that pick to send to OKC with Kevin Martin to get James Harden. That pick ended up being Steven Adams. I would trade that again in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
even
Harden
with
every day.
Told me that we never were going to win a championship. I would trade like I mean, Kyle Lowry is a great point guard. I love Kyle Lowry. I mean, I wanted him back when he was about to be a free agent.
I thought he was going to go back to y'all before y'all traded for Chris Paul.
The best. I thought that was going to be the best, like, situation. Harden actually get a point guard on the side of him that can shoot, that can do some other things, but that can help Harden get Harden off the ball. But I mean, I'm not about to sit here and be like, oh, I miss Kyle Lowry and stuff like that. Kyle Lowry was good when he was here. Definitely he had a great career. Like, I salute him.
Salute. Got to, especially that type of grind.
For sure.
But I feel you, though. But let's get on to the last segment. All right, to wrap up every show, I do a top 5 segment where I ask you a couple questions based off specifically for you. I usually do 3, but I couldn't decide between the last 2 I have, so I'm just going to give you 4. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
But top 5 Rockets since you've been a fan. Your favorites.
Okay. Top 5 Rockets. 1, Hakeem Olajuwon. 2, James Harden. 3, Steve Francis. 4, Yao Ming. 5, damn, that's going to be tough. 5. I would say, can I give you like a tie, like a 3-way tie?
Yeah, go ahead.
Between Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, and Dwight Howard.
And Dwight, how you like Dwight for that little bit?
Yeah, Dwight, man, I just didn't like him lying. I just don't like liars. I don't like liars, man. Like Carmelo, that's the reason why I bang on Carmelo, man. I don't like liars.
Yeah, I was on Dwight here for one of them extra post touches on that last year.
That shit was off.
Oh, man. But all right, next one. You a big comic book fan, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Big comic book fan. Give me your 5 favorite superheroes.
5 favorite. Well, number 1 is The Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Batman. Number 3 is Blade. Number 4, Ant-Man. Number 5, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Ant-Man, a wild card in there.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Respect Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man, though.
I feel. How you feel about the Batman slander?
Batman said, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. They got here on a war with aliens and shit with no powers. Niggas be
no powers.
Like, the fuck?
You see that last Justice League animated movie that came out?
Man, I need like, I don't know if you got a list, but if you got a list of the hoes that like in order, send them to me. Watch them hoes tonight.
All right, but I'll link you them joints after we get off here. Official. Next one, Texas boy. You know, top 5 rappers from Texas.
Top 5 rappers from Texas. Okay, that's tough. 0, Pimp C. This is in no order, by the way.
Yeah, no.
0, Pimp C, Scarface. Damn. Chamillionaire. And niggas gonna slander me for this. Travis Scott.
Travis, already.
I like Travis, bro. Travis is a different. He gives you a whole different mindset when you hear Houston. When I name them other niggas, you think Houston, Texas. When I name Travis, you be like, oh, that's that new Houston shit. You know.
You got Travis over Paul Wall.
Yeah, I mean Paul Wall, cool, but I'd rather listen to Travis than Paul Wall.
Like. Travis and Paul. I ain't mad at you. Yeah. I said that's your area. I can't say no. All right, and last one. Big Kanye fan. Know that's your guy.
Yes.
Rank them top 5 Kanye albums.
Oh, it fluctuates every single day, man. Like every time I listen to an album, I'm like, this the best. Then I listen to another album, I'm like, this the best. But shit, okay.
You ain't on 5. This the only one in order.
In order?
It's the only one in order from top 5.
Number 1, Late Registration. Number 2, Graduation. Number 3, 808s and Heartbreaks. Number 4, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Number 5, College Dropout.
College Dropout. That's what. So those
Oh.
are your. That's what you think the best of those your favorites.
I mean, you said in order, so I guess favorites to my least favorite. Well, I mean, he made more than 5, so I got favorite than that. But yeah.
Man, them first 5, those the main ones. So I had to get you.
Yeah.
Had to get those on. I think my favorite is on Graduation. Like my favorite album ever for real. I ain't even front.
Yeah, Graduation. He was spazzing, man. Graduation. I don't know, man. Like Prime Kanye, I just don't feel like it was another artist like on this level. Like
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah.
Kanye or Wayne?
Kanye.
Mid margin?
No, I mean like Wayne. I've grown as I've gotten older. I've grown to appreciate more Wayne. Like I did not like Carter 4 when it first came out. Carter 4 when it first. I was like, this shit is garbage. Like, but I listen to it now, and I'm like, oh, this whole slap. Like, this whole.
Yeah, that joint kind of tight now.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, I see what my niggas was listening to back then. Now I was asleep. You know what I'm saying? Carter 3, I did not like it. I mean, I liked it, but I liked it more than Carter 4, but I didn't like it. I was like, it's not better than Carter 2. Then I hear Carter 3, I'm like, oh, this one don't got no skips. Like, you know. So I get older and I listen to it again. I'm like, you know what? It might be nostalgia. It might bring me back to a time when I was younger. So that might be why I like it. But I don't know. I just know that as I've listened to Lil Wayne later, I'm like, it's better.
I feel you. Well, all right, bro. I appreciate you coming down and kicking it.
All right, man. No problem, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too, bro. No problem. I'm going to get you back on in the future after these playoffs and everything resume.
All right, man. Have a good one. Out.
All right, brother.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't? Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.